inquiry in strategy, or what do you want? So inquiry in strategy, or answering the question, what do you want? So this video is relevant if you are a chief executive who is sometimes asked, what do you want? Or in fact, if you're the consultant or the strategist or the person who is conducting the inquiry. By inquiry we mean proceeding by asking questions, and the nature and the tone of that inquiry is very important if you actually want your chief executive to feel safe to explore the question, what do you want? It should be, what do you want should be, if you like, a question that we ought to be able to answer off the cuff. But if you ask me that question, then I'm unlikely to know unless I've just been studying in depth what it is that I want. And I found that that is the same pretty much for everyone that I work with. What is it? What do you want? Okay, so when I ask that question, what am I paying attention to? And there are two things that I'm paying attention to, and there's one preparatory stage which is to do with my state and my opinion. So the preparatory stage in relation to my state and my opinion is that I let myself know that my opinion doesn't count. What I want to know is the opinion of the chief executive. That person doesn't need my opinion. They need time to think through their opinion. So I set myself aside, and if I make the mistake of having an opinion, I can pretty much guarantee that it will be ignored, and or it will interfere with the process and the sort of direction that I'm trying to go. So my opinion in this work, according to me, my opinion doesn't count. But what I do know how to do is to lead someone else in the direction of answering the question, what do they want? So I'm paying attention, as far as the client is concerned, to two things. And the first thing that I'm paying attention to, which is the language of business, if you like, we always start there, are the words. So I'm listening to what a client is saying to me. And I'd like to give you an example. If you were to ask me, what do I want? And I were to say, I want to fly to the moon. What did I just say? You might answer to me, you might say to me, you said you want to fly to the moon. And in fact, I didn't say that. What I said was, I want to fly to the moon. So this changing of one word can have a very devastating effect in a conversation. If you repeated back to me, you said, I want to fly to the moon, I would then give you more information. Yes, and I want to go in a blue jet or whatever. But if you use the other phrasing, Joseph, you said you want to fly to the moon, I'm dead really, I'm saying yes or no. But I'm just out of conscious awareness, I'm aware that you didn't listen to me. So it's going to impinge on the quality of the information that I give to you. Now you might think that is a tediously small example, but the threads to our experience from our words are fine, and we really can't afford to interfere with them. Because if we're then going to talk for the next 2 hours about what it is that I want or what it is that you want, it's easier if we use the literal words. So I'm paying attention to the actual literal words that the chief executive is using in order to facilitate a journey deeper into their feeling experience. Because as we have these conversations, we will move from the abstractions of the first few paragraphs into the deeper feelings and the deeper ones. The second thing that I'm paying attention to are the somatics. The somatics on a really obvious level, the physical movement. Can you see me moving? On a more subtle level, the skin tone in my face. On a slightly peripheral level, the fact that I'm squeezing my toes. So I'm observing the somatics of the conversation. And when the feelings coincide with the words, when the words and the feelings appear to be congruent, I'm aware that I'm on a rich trail, and I follow it, and I mark it mentally, that combination of words and feelings generated a sort of lighting up of the person that I'm talking to. Now, they won't necessarily be aware of that. They will just be sitting there having a conversation. But if you're paying attention to it, then you can use those sorts of words and phrases at those moments, certainly as anchor points and ways into even more deepness in terms of answering the question, what do you want? Now there's more, there's structure, there's a lot more structure to it, but these are the things that you're paying attention to. You're listening to the words and you're observing the somatics. Now you can only do this if you can set yourself aside, if as the inquirer your opinion doesn't count. There are no judgments from you as the inquirer of the person you're inquiring of. So I think that's about it. The tip is that as the consultant, your opinion really does not count. And then after you've been through this process, which will include, once you actually got the kind of deeper structure of the once you know the answer to the question, what do you want, from a deeper structure perspective, you'll then start bringing it to the service and making you'll see all kinds of decisions, there'll be all kinds of choices. But if you've got to the deeper feeling structure, they're going to be relatively simple decisions to make. So that's the process of inquiry. As Michael Porter says about strategy, not many companies have a strategy in any meaningful way. And I think I would like to say that I have noticed, for better or for worse, not many consultants listen in any meaningful way. They paraphrase, they feed something else back to you, their opinion about what it is that they think that they've heard, and they miss the golden moment which will lead you to the answer. What is it that you want? And that's the process of inquiry.